So good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Kritika Abhyankar, shall be moderating this webinar for the career prospects in zoology and animal biotechnology. So before we start, I would like to talk about the department. The School of Science of Navrachana University emphasizes deep scientific research that explores the theory and advances science to help to shape the future. The school offers various unique undergraduate and postgraduate departments, and specifically which includes BSc in chemistry, microbiology, botany and plant biotechnology, zoology, and animal biotechnology. There is an integrated course on BSc, MSc biomedical science, and MSc in organic chemistry, analytical chemistry, microbiology, zoology and biotechnology, and biotechnology and clinical embryology. With this, let us begin with the webinar. I would like to talk about our expert for the day. So I welcome you, sir, Professor Dr. Oommen. His research venture over the past 38 years have been focused mainly on the metabolic hormonal regulation in sub-mammalian vertebrates and has significantly contributed on the comparative endocrinology in non-mammalian vertebrates. He has started his career as lecturer in 1980s in the Department of Zoology, University of Kerala. After obtaining his master's and PhD degree from Banaras Hindu University, he has continued his academic position as reader, professor, and head dean of Faculty of Science till he formally retired in 2010. He has research collaboration with Professor B.B. Agarwal of MD Anderson Cancer Research in USA on plant products in the development of drugs for the cancer and has published several papers in that area. The collaboration with the Department of Animal Sciences on several aspects of reproductive biology of Sicilian results in dozens of research papers describing the stages of spermatogenesis, oogenesis, and on seasonality of reproduction. This involves identification of the new species, extensive taxonomic revisions in the Sicilian species. Over the last 5 years, he has been working on the snake venom and natural product research, and the area has extended to plant-based snake bite antidotes, molecular level taxonomy of snake and venom informatics. He has published over 170 research papers, 13 book chapters, 20 gene bank submissions, and several popular science articles. As a recognition of his outstanding research contribution in the Sicilian taxonomy, he has been rewarded a Sicilian amphibian species after himself, that is Ureotephilus oomeni. He has also been elected as a fellow member of many science academies, including Kerala Academy of Sciences, National Academy of Sciences, India, and is currently an active member in the science popularization as the former president of Kerala Academy of Science. Professor Oommen has guided 30 students for their doctoral degree. He is a former chairman of Kerala State Biodiversity Board and is presently Honorable Director of Center for Venom Informatics, University of Kerala. He is an ex-CSIR Emeritus scientist. Professor Oommen has recently published several papers on biodiversity conservation and its challenges and edited 4 international books on various aspects of biodiversity. Professor Oommen is also a founder secretary of Society of Translational Cancer Research and is the president of Society for Nutraceuticals and Chronic Disease. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, for addressing this webinar. So,
Thank
sir,
you. Please tell me.
Yeah. So with this, we should start with some basic questions which are going to help us to address certain questions which are relevant to zoology. So, sir, can you talk about something where how is zoology and animal biotechnology shaping modern science and industry today?
I shall try, Krutika. Thank you,
Yes.
Krutika, for that wonderful words of introduction. You took a long time for that. It's okay. Thank you so much. I am
Thank you,
humbled.
sir.
I am indeed good morning to all the students of Navrachana University and all of you who have gathered to listen to me this morning. Professor Ramachandran, my good old friend Krutika Abhengar and other faculty members, and most importantly, the young, smart students who aspire to become BSc honors and masters in zoology and animal biotechnology of the Navrachana University, which is also ranked by NAC as in A position. I'm indeed thankful to the university in general and Professor Ramachandran, my friend in particular, for having invited me to share my thoughts with the young, intelligent, and dynamic students of Navrachana University. Uh, my job is to kindle scientific interest, particularly in the field of zoology and biotechnology, to the young minds who aspire to be the biology students of Navrachana University. I shall try my best to impart my knowledge, my feeling about them, and their choice of these subjects, and what these subjects can offer to them as future scientists of our country. In fact, we have celebrated National Science Day almost 3 weeks before, commemorating the discovery of Sir C.V. Raman, uh, who discovered the Raman, if popularly known as Raman effect, on the 28th of February 1928, for which he won the Nobel Prize 2 years later in 1930. Unfortunately, Sir C.V. Raman remains the only science Nobel laureate who worked in India and who got a recognition for his work in our country. There are several other Nobel laureates from our country. In fact, a Nobel laureate have a connection to Baroda also. Uh, Dr. Venkataraman Ramakrishnan, popularly called Vengi Ramakrishnan, who was a native of Tamil Nadu, but a student of master's student at MS University, Baroda. Dr. Ramachandran probably would know him. And of course, Professor Ramachandran would know his father, Professor Ramakrishnan, the erstwhile professor of biochemistry, who passed away recently in London. Venkataraman Ramakrishnan was a student of physics to begin with. He graduated in physics. He did his master's in physics from MS University in Baroda and moved over to USA, where he did his. He wanted to. He wanted to learn biochemistry. He did some online courses in biochemistry. We started researching in the field of biochemistry, and ultimately, in 2009, he shared the Nobel Prize with two others for a Nobel Prize in chemistry. See the paradoxes: a student of physics, worked in medical sciences, and got a Nobel Prize in chemistry, which again shows science does not have any boundaries. Science does not grow in isolation. So the students who seek admission to the zoology and biotechnology in undergraduate degree, BSc honors and MSc in zoology and biotechnology, they should learn that science does not grow in isolation. In fact, the young, intelligent, young, educated young are the asset of our country. You are the asset of our country. Those students who listened to me this morning are the promise of future for India. India, when it became independent in 1977, 1947, sorry, almost 80 years ago, well, we had nothing, but we inherited a rich culture of science in our blood. even from 6,000 years ago, we were good in science. Our ancestors were good in science, both in mathematics, in physics, and so on. In fact, when independent India, the first prime minister of our country was also a visionary for science and technology. He realized, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he realized that it was science and technology alone could bring up our country among other nations in the world. So he gave importance to science and technology and established institutions for the upliftment of science and technology, like Department Center, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, which has got about 40 plus laboratories all over the country. And later on, we started Department of Biotechnology, Department of Space Technology, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. That time itself, we started a Department of Atomic Energy. So we had great people like Vikram Sarabhai, who was from uh, Gujarat, and he came to all the way to Trivandrum and started the Vikram, the Space Center, Space Research Center in Trivandrum. Unfortunately, he passed away while he was in Trivandrum itself, and later on the institution was known as Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. So it was Vikram Sarabhai who developed the Indian Space Research Organization, popularly called as ISRO in this country. And in fact, Vikram Sarabhai, Homi J. Bhabha, who pioneered the atomic research in the country, BARC, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. Bhabha, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, they were all friendly with Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru at that time. So that gave Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru a visionary thought, a scientific thought in his mind, which facilitated all the branches of science in our country, like space science, and we are at par with the highly developed nations in the world, like US, Russia, China, France, and so on. We are in the higher league of space research. In fact, the space research led us to the age of having a palm computer in every citizens of the country's palm, the, the popularly called mobile phone, which every student of Navrachana University also must be having in their pocket or on in their with them. So India became self-reliant. India is probably second largest publishing country in the world after United States. It was China until recently, but I understand we overtook China. So those students who seek admission to the BSc Honors program and MSc program in Navrachana University, I should say, are lucky generation, uh, because I have gone through the syllabi of both the courses of Navrachana University, and I found that the syllabus starts with fundamental science, elementary zoology, and ends up with the high-end zoology and high-end biotechnology. So that means, so because today's basic science is tomorrow's applied science and day after tomorrow's technology. That has been the case. Basic fundamental science or basic science is the mother of all sciences. In fact, colleges and universities of our country are primarily expected to do fundamental science, which is translated into applied science and applied product by research institutions like CSIR laboratories and so on. So, Navaratna University syllabus I give credit to those who developed the syllabus, those who evolved the syllabus. It is a wonderful syllabus for the young, intelligent minds to follow up. Science is always dynamic. Research is dynamic. Research is like a relay race. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, our predecessors, and the students who join the honors course and master's course, when they also join for a research program, they stand on the shoulders of their predecessors who are Ramachandran and I or our generation. So they can see the world a little better than we saw it before. And we saw the world a little better than our predecessors because we are standing on their shoulders. So science is a relay race. In fact, if you the course itself is zoology and biotechnology. That itself shows that science. So, for example, biology was married to chemistry and evolved the biochemistry science. Biology was married to mathematics, evolved the biostatistics. Biology was married to physics, evolved the biophysics. Biology was married to technology, evolved the biotechnology, which is also called genetic engineering, gene engineering. You are manipulating the gene to make new genetic formulations and new genetic products and so on. In fact, the results of biotechnology is also called recombinant DNA technology. That recombinant DNA technology is redefining the DNA's structure of the gene. And the biggest contribution of DNA recombinant technology is that the production of insulin hormone, which is essential for diabetes, both type 1 and type 2. That was the saving grace for millions of people on the planet Earth, the discovery of the insulin and the synthesis of insulin through biotechnology or recombinant DNA technology. So the youngsters who join for biotechnology program should remember that a vast expanse of land, a vast expanse of opportunities are awaiting them because science is restless, science is dynamic. Discoveries in future will go farther beyond what we actually know today. Actually, we live in a world of fantasy. Our generation, Professor Ramachandran and my generation, we were born in the late 40s or early 50s and 60s. Our generation saw all facets of life, difficulties of the 1960s, lack of food for our country, because those days it was the ship to mouth existence. Only if wheat came from the United States under the PL 480 scheme, we had something enough to eat. There wasn't enough rice or wheat or pulses in our country sufficient to feed crores of people. That program, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru realized it, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was given a hand by Dr. C. Subramanian, Chandrasekharan Subramaniam, who was an agricultural visionary and a political manager. In fact, he who pioneered the Green Revolution in the country with the support of scientists like M.S. Swaminathan, and they ushered in the Green Revolution, resulted in our Indian Parliament enacting Food Security Bill in 2014, food for all Indian citizens. So from hunger, from famine in the 1950s and 60s to Food Security Bill enacted in the Parliament in 2014. So to begin with, we used to say Jai Jawan, and Lal Bahadur Shastri added the Jai Kisan. Then Atal Bihari Vajpayee added Jai Vigyan, Jai Knowledge. And Narendra Modi, again from your state, added the slogan Jai Anusandhan, Jai Research. So today, as a nation, we give importance to education, knowledge. Research generates new knowledge, and new knowledge is translated into products. So, in fact, we all remember I'm talking this to the present, especially to the young people who are going to be students of BSc Honors and MSc in Navrachana University, because Science is in your hands for the future. We give it to you, Ramachandran and I, or our generation, or give whatever we did. We give it to you to take it ahead like a relay race. So science and technology offers a wide scope. In fact, in about 5 years, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 2020, you all remember, even the youngsters also remember the pandemic COVID-19, coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19. It used to take 8 to 10 years and billions of dollars to develop a vaccine for any disease. Development of vaccine was a wonderful discovery on the planet Earth. But necessity is the mother of invention. In 2019 and 20, there was a necessity to save the lives of millions of people otherwise would have died because of the pandemic COVID-19. Scientists all over the world uh, woke up and they developed a vaccine. It can't be even thought of in within 10 months and not 10 years. That was the necessity of the time. And therefore, we saved millions of lives probably. Now, of course, there are the controversy about the vaccines, side effects, and so on. But that was not the mandate of that time. The mandate was to develop a vaccine so that we could at least save millions of lives. Several thousands died, several lakhs died, but we saved millions of lives. Now we are modifying it further and further and further. All that were possible because of the Human Genome Project, one of the path-breaking discovery of science of this years, which began in 1990 with a target of 15 years and $5 billion. And science, the next generation sequencing of DNA, which was again another remarkable discovery, led to the Human Genome Project. The draft human genome was published as early as 2003 against 2005. So when the human genome draft was, so now we know what we are made up of. So the students have got a vast arena of research, arena of data available with them to diversify their research in both zoology and in biotechnology. And as I mentioned earlier, biotechnology is now helping us to develop vaccines, to develop new food, to develop poison-free food, to develop human uh, new fruits and new animal with new genome. So therefore, the students have got what they need is to think widely, to think, ask questions to what they see, how, what, and why, and try to answer them. You should all have a hypothesis. You should all have your own hypothesis. You think out of the mind, out of the box, and try to prove your hypothesis. And also, you should be prepared to be wrong about your hypothesis also. So every researcher, every student who joins this your university should have a vision, should have a mind for scientific research, scientific talents, because India encourages science in a big way. In fact, C.V. Raman still remains the leading lamb to all the scientists of the country to take up research as a career, to find solutions to the problems facing humanity in our country. Science and technology for human welfare. That should be the mandate of all the young students who join science. It is not necessary that everybody should become a scientist. So, in fact, literature is needed. Arts and science, arts and other faculties are equally important. What is needed is to excel in any branch you select. You should actually be selecting according to your talents. not pressurized by your parents or your peers. You should be selecting it a subject out of your interest, out of listening to somebody who talks about it. So listening to somebody who can advise you, and you should select a science according to your wish, your will. But once you have selected it, and if you develop interest for it, try to excel in that area in the next years to come. So therefore, science, as I mentioned, does not grow in isolation. For example, the discovery of the structure of DNA in the middle of 20th century, exactly 1953, by Watson, Crick, Wilkins, and Rosalind Franklin. That was the revolutionary history which revolutionized the molecular biology field. Since then, we know what we are made up of: DNA, gene, chromosome, and so on. Neither Darwin, when he visited the Galapagos Island earlier, nor the father of modern genetics, Gregor Mendel, realized that genes are the hereditary factors. They both of them did not realize, and they are discovered, but they somehow visualized hereditary factors from one generation to another generation. So science is all about thinking. Science is a relay race, as I mentioned. So each discovery leads to a better discovery. So today, the students of Navrachana University are the asset of our country, asset of your university, asset of your state, not only your state, our country as a whole, because the students are dynamic, young. You are exposed to the most modern literature as well as most modern equipments to do research. For example, C.V. Raman discovered the instrument Raman effect. He was once he was traveling when he was traveling to London in a ship through the ocean. He found the sea looking blue. That aroused curiosity in him. Why is that the sea is looking blue? And he look up at the skies, which also was blue then. So he realized, he hypothesized that the sea is reflecting the light of the skies. So he came back to India and developed this machinery in Bangalore. In fact, he started his career in Calcutta, Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. That is where he discovered the science effect. Later on, he came to Bangalore, and in fact, the Raman spectrometer is employed in diagnostic as well as therapeutic, and employed in all the areas of science: chemistry, physics, chemistry, physics, and zoology, biotechnology, and so on. So science grows by interaction. So zoology students, you are a good match of students, zoology and biotechnology, because you are learning basic animal science, and towards the end, you are learning the recent developments in biotechnology. And for example, some of the examples in our country, for example, along with C.V. Raman, three more physicists from Calcutta, namely J.C. Bose, S.N. Bose, and Meghnad Saha, had by then made major contributions that were globally acclaimed, actually. So, therefore, we have several role models to look upon: J.C. Bose, Meghnad Saha. In fact, Meghnad Saha, he started the first Academy of Sciences in our country, National Academy of Sciences, India. In short form, it is called NASI. So national academies are expected to give scientific knowledge to the people at large, and particularly the young generation in particular. So therefore, our job is to incite or kindle scientific interest in the young minds of our country. That was what Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the first president, not the president of our country earlier, who was a scientist president, a technologist president. He was actually a technologist who tried to kindle scientific interest in the young minds of the country. In fact, he died while he was talking to students in Meghalaya University in Shillong. So our job, our responsibility is to kindle scientific interest, to create a scientific attitude in the young people, particularly those who join the Navrachana University for these courses in now. So the young, as I mentioned, the young people are the asset of our country. You have the or avail. You are exposed to the latest developments in science, latest equipments in science. We did the research probably with very crude instruments in the 1970s, 80s, and also 90s. There wasn't enough money to do research then, but fortunately now that's not the case. You are exposed to any kind of instrument. You are exposed to, in fact, the discovery of several of the discoveries, if not most, are serendipitous in science, accidental in science. So if you are a good student of science, you will naturally discover something. And some of them are even serendipitous. In fact, the Nobel Prize in GFP, green fluorescent protein, went to Malcolm Chalfie. He was in our department for a week about 10 years ago. I had the privilege to host him. He was telling us that they were very disappointed. Finally, they were about to give up the research about green fluorescent protein. One evening, when they were all closing the lab and returning home, he looked back to the wash basin, the zinc, to see that some fluorescence green color was there. He was excited. He was excited. That was the discovery. So several of the scientific discoveries are serendipitous or serendipity, accidental discoveries. Archimedes, when he discovered the gravity, he was having a bath in a bathtub when the water overflowed with his weight, and and water went down. He discovered that gravity, the apple, when we throw away a stone, it comes back to earth. So earth attracts it. So it seems the story goes that Archimedes ran through the street naked as he came out from the bathroom. Eureka, eureka! I discovered. So you have the present students have got tremendous opportunities compared to us. We came through a difficult generation, but we are a lucky generation too. We saw difficulties, we experienced difficulties, we experienced little shortage of food, we experienced shortage of money. We saw the steam engine taking us all the way to Benares. Now aircraft take us to Benares. So we saw everything. We enjoy. So we are actually. It was a fantasy to see a mobile phone 20. Imagine a mobile phone 30 years ago. Then came true in 20 years before. Then came the WhatsApp call, the video call, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Those things were fantasy for us. Talk to somebody, seeing them in the phone. So yesterday's fantasies are today's realities. Science and technology help to become that fantasy into a reality. So you have a lot of challenges before you. The young students who join the BSc Honors program with a wonderful syllabus are lucky generation to learn under dynamic people who are also exposed to the modern technologies, be it physics or be it biochemistry, be it biophysics. The information technology, biology was again recently married to the information technology that revolutionized the generation of knowledge in our country. Bioinformatics, synthetic biology, in silico experiments. So that revolutionized the discovery. That alone help us to understand all about modern genetics, modern biotechnology, modern genetic engineering, and so on. So you are a lucky generation to look forward to. You are standing on the shoulders of great scientists of yesteryears and current, so you can see a better world. But then science, as in any other case, also a double-edged sword. So science should be in the hands, scientific discovery should be in the hands of safe people who think safety for the country. For example, atomic energy, it can destroy the world as it did in the World War II in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The same atomic energy which gives you light, which gives you coolness, fans, air conditioners, a lot of industries, can kill all of us at one go. So science should be in safe hands. And I'm very confident that young generation who listen to me today from Navrachana University will utilize their talents in the right way. These days, of course, the news that comes from campuses are very worrying, unfortunately, everywhere in the country, not to mention in our state, Kerala, in your state, Gujarat, in several other states. Uh, Unfortunately, young generation are also subject to drug use and drug misuse and spoiling a generation. But I am very confident that students who listen to me from Navaratna University are above that. I don't want to allege such a thing on you. You should be a different generation interested in science and technology. That is why who opted these subjects, and you can excel well because science generates new information. In, in fact, all science, unpublished science is redundant. You should be work. Science also is a search for truth. Scientific research is a search for truth. You are discovering something true, and with science always believes in truth. Without truth, science cannot survive. So therefore, you are expected to be truthful in science, and you are expected to do research truthfully, so that that can be published. Unpublished science is redundant. So today you have at your fingertip, you can get all the research developments in the world, all the references in the world. When we were students, Ramachandran would remember, we had to go to library physically, sit there and look at the printed journals and collect references on reference cards for ourselves. Today, it's only a mouse, a click away the the references. You can even great technologies like artificial intelligence. We are living in an era of artificial intelligence and chat GPT. You can certainly use those technologies again with truth in your mind, with caution in your mind. The same technology can ruin you also, and the same technology can build you also. So you should use it wisely. The Chat GPT or because that will teach you better language also, and language also is important in science. Not only that you do good science, you should be able to communicate that good science to the world. You should be good science communicators also. So therefore, you can use the latest technologies, but not be slave to the latest technology, science and technology. You should use science and technology for your welfare, our welfare, your fellow citizens' welfare, and not for destruction. The same science can destroy us. So we have excellent examples of that. So you choose between the two, choose the wise one, and become a true scientist and contribute to the nation building. And it is science and technology which built India strong in the last 75 years. In fact, we inherited a very poor nation. We had a great past. Let us not bask in the past. Actually, we had a great past in BC years. In fact, the discovery of microscope in the 16th century by Antony von Leeuwenhoek. It was an accidental discovery. It was a serendipitous discovery. He was interested in grinding glasses. and the ground glasses became magnified lenses. He could see things enlarged, magnified. That was his hobby, actually. Grinding glasses was his hobby. Ultimately, that resulted in the discovery of microscopes, simple microscope, compound microscope. And now the students of Navrachana University can go to Bombay, Mumbai, BARC, or some, even in your campus also, I'm not sure. At least in Baroda, there should be an electron microscope which can magnify to millions of times. A scanning electron microscope to see the outside surface, and a transmission electron microscope to see the inside structure so very well. That is how we know that we are made up of a nucleus. We have in our cells organelles like mitochondria, ribosomes. In fact, Venkatraman Ramakrishnan got Nobel Prize for the study of ribosomes, which are the factory of protein synthesis using X-ray crystallography tool. See, he got a Nobel Prize in chemistry. He used the physics tool, X-ray crystallography, for studying the ultrastructure, for studying the protein synthesizing machinery of the cell. Venkatraman Ramakrishnan got Nobel Prize. Science does not know boundaries. Science does not grow in isolation. If you do not know chemistry, you can't be a master of all subjects. You can take the help of your friend who is a biochemist, who is a biotechnologist. So together you can win. Together we stand, we win. Divided we fall. So therefore, the students should make up their mind before they join for a course. And once they join the course, the syllabus given in your, I am very impressed with your both undergraduate and postgraduate syllabus. BSc honors course, you are a privileged class of generation to have got admission in BSc honors program with zoology ultimately ending in the latest syllabi available for you. So I'm very happy about that. I congratulate all of you. So I will finish in another 5 minutes time. If you have any question, I'm available to answer. Last 10 minutes we can have an interaction if you like. So therefore, let us have role models like C.V. Raman, in politics like Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, C. Subramaniam, C. Subramaniam, and another Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. C. Subramaniam is Chandrasekhar Subramaniam. Both of them were born in the same village in 1910. We celebrated their 100th year of birth in 2010. Both Subramaniam Chandrasekhar and Chandrasekhar and Subramaniam. And Chandrasekhar and Subramaniam, he went to the US. He looked up at the sky. He looked up at the galaxies. He did research in galaxies of the world, of the planet. So he became a physicist. While C. Subramaniam looked down upon the earth, he became an agricultural scientist, and he encouraged the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution is the epic example of finding an answer to the famine which was in India in the 1940s, 50s, and up to early 60s. For which M.S. Swaminathan is known as the father of Indian Green Revolution. He was helped by another father of world Green Revolution, Norman Borlaug, who also got a Nobel Prize and who passed away recently. So Norman Borlaug, a US scientist who got a Nobel Prize, he was known as the father of Green Revolution in the world. I am telling all these stories to incite the young generation who join for. There are ample opportunities for you. Ample opportunities are awaiting you. Only thing is, you should have that kind of a mind. Ask questions when you see events. Why? Why that happens? What is happening? How is it happening? If you are able to answer these questions to what you see in the nature, you will become a scientist. That's what Charles Darwin did. when he saw the beaks of the birds which were in isolation in Galapagos Island, he did not, he was anxious about it. Those birds which are able to adapt to the changed situation, to have honey from the flowers. Their beaks were modified to have honey from the flowers, and they adapted, and they adopted to the situation. So he proposed theory of natural selection, survival of the fittest. He did not know then what made the survival of the fittest. Later on discoveries, science is a relay race. The discovery of DNA structure in 1953 revolutionized the knowledge, and that was the basis of the molecular biology. So those scientists who contributed for major scientific discoveries, they have laid the foundation for a strong science. Science is not, there is nothing like Indian science. Science is universal. Science is truth. So we have, that's why we publish science in international journals. So when COVID-19 was erupted in supposed to be in China, the scientists in China, they sequenced the genome of COVID-19 coronavirus. They published it in the open network, and it was available to all scientists in the world. So then several laboratories started immediately for developing a vaccine. So did we in our country. We also developed a few vaccines for coronavirus. And India is the pharmacy for the world, actually. India is a supplier of vaccines for the world population, particularly the poor populations in African continent. We are the pharmacy of the world, actually. So we have several role models, even among in women scientists. Janaki Ammal in agriculture, Kiran Majumdar Shaw in biotechnology when she established the uh, Biocon. Then we have Dr. Tessie Thomas in space science. We have several, then physics, chemistry, and so on. In fact, a lady who shared Nobel Prize with Venkatraman Ramakrishnan is an Israeli lady who shared the Nobel Prize in chemistry. So let all these be models for us, particularly for you. We have several other Indians who can be your role models. You should have a role model, and aspire to become should always have a definite aim in science, and science alone can give you happiness. And you should excel in whichever field you are, certainly, but science and technology alone can bring development to a country, which was realized by our planners and administrators and political managers. So we are blessed. So Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. So Jai Research. So you should have a research mind, researching. Science did not say its last word. So whatever I say may be questioned by those who listen to me this morning from Navrachana University 10 years from now or 20 years from now. So you have ample opportunity, because science did not say its last word yet, and I don't think it will ever. So it is your challenge, it is your wisdom that is going to decide the future of our country. The future of India depends upon the young people of Navaratna University, future biotechnology, the future zoology, fundamental science depends upon your knowledge and your wisdom. So I wish all of you learn the wonderful syllabi prepared by your faculty members, and involve in it, and do good research, study well. I appreciate the Navaratna University and the syllabus developers, because it has got every aspect required for a young generation to be involved in and to learn about. So all the very best wishes to all of you. If you have anything to interact with me, or if you have contribute something to my knowledge, I'll be happy to uh, listen to you. And I thank once again Navaratna University for having invited me to share my thoughts with you this morning. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Uh, so thank you for explaining the cohesiveness between the subjects and also sharing your thoughts about India being progressing in the research, right? And a lot of steps which have been inculcated by the government and as well as by the other scrutiny which is there. So one of the most common question which students basically address is why I should opt for zoology and biotechnology instead a general life science course. So can you just answer this question in short?
Zoology and see, first of all, we should know about our life. Zoology or the biological science talks about life. We should know what we are about, what we are made up of, what is going on in us. What is going? Our brain actually is a super computer, much stronger than even the most intelligent artificial intelligence. So you should know what we are made up of. So therefore, zoology and biotechnology offers you that opportunity to learn about yourself, to learn about those things which are yet to be discovered. There are several things in us to be discovered again. We only know a tip of the iceberg. So it is your responsibility to learn those things which utilizing the most modern technology available to build upon what has already been built, not to rediscover the wheel again, to build upon what's already built up. So this is your responsibility. So you have to study about yourself. That zoology offers the study of life, not only us, all the life on the planet Earth, which is called the biological diversity. India is a biodiverse country. India is one of the 17 mega biodiverse countries in the world. There are a lot of opportunities for you to start learning in zoology and biotechnology because biotechnology, genetic engineering. So I only mentioned a few examples. For example, insulin. So you can discover several new things in zoology and biotechnology which have not been discovered by others. And you have a better opportunity today. You have better facilities today available for you to think deeply more than us. We could not think. I could not think as you can think now because your mental faculties are supposed to be more evolved, more than ours. So you have a better opportunity to learn about you and about the contributions which you can make to make human race a better one in the years to come.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one more question, which is wherein zoology is being inside the lab and zoology outside the lab. That is where the field study is going to be included. Can you explain like what are the progressions or what all things can be done in the lab and how are things outside the lab in zoology?
See, you can learn nature as Charles Darwin did. He did not have any major instruments. He went to Galapagos Island. He observed the nature. He observed the birds. He observed the organisms, and he put forward a theory. You also can do that. You also can go to the nature around you or to the wildlife around you and observe them. Nature is, in fact, Charles Darwin's laboratory was nature. So you can also have nature as your laboratory, and those experiments or those things which you observe in nature, which you cannot confirm there, can be done in the laboratory. Can be done in the laboratory. What goes on inside, you probably cannot do it in the nature. What goes inside can be done in the laboratory. So together, you can have a consolidated approach, consolidated knowledge, consolidated result. What you observe in nature is confirmed in the laboratory. So nature is a laboratory. So all of you who are in the nature can do research in nature as a natural scientist, as a nature scientist. And when you come to the internal, the more in details, you can perform those experiments with the modern technology and tools available inside the laboratory. Confirm it, what you think, or your hypothesis can be confirmed in the laboratory using modern scientific tools and technology.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with the modern education policy, the national education policy, everywhere it is like BSc honors, wherein the research projects, small research projects have been inculcated or they have been taken into consideration. Can you tell the benefits of these small research projects which have been taken, apart from those which doesn't have such kind of research projects?
The aim of the national education policy and to strengthen, uh, to catch the young when they are very young itself, to catch the young generation they are young itself, and imbibe a scientific culture, scientific thought in them before becoming, when the mind is fresh, maybe 15, 16, to catch them young. That is the philosophy, to catch them young and inculcate scientific interest in them, which they develop with modern scientific tools and technologies. So, catch them young is the aim of having an advanced course like BSc Honors, because those students who join BSc Honors are less than 20 years of age, 19 or 20 years of age. So, you caught them young and give them opportunities to do better research, project work. Project work again is the beginning of your big research later. PhD is a license to do research actually. You do real research only after the PhD. And until PhD, you are with a mentor. You are with a mentor because so the world believes in an already established mentor. So you are under a mentor until you complete your PhD. Once you get a PhD, you have the license to do research on yourself, and you become a mentor gradually, and train other students. So we are catching you young and train you to become good mentors, better mentors than us for a future generation, for your children and grandchildren, for the future generation. That is why we take you young, catch you young, and instill scientific thoughts in you so that you become better than this present generation. Every succeeding generation is better than, should be better than the preceding one. That is why we give project in small projects in at the undergraduate level, even the school level. Even I understand that projects are envisaged now. So at the university level, at the undergraduate level, you are given a project initially to give the feeling that this is what you are going to face when you become a master's student or even a doctoral student. And you will be under a mentor till then. Once you get the PhD degree, you are having the registration, or you have the freedom to do independent research, and you gradually develop and turn into a mentor to train still younger people upcoming.
Thank you so much, sir. Uh, so there is another question which talks about like if I do zoology, what are the benefits which will be provided by zoology in terms of like government examination or some research fellowships or even for an industry-based thing? How zoology helps in getting any kind of job or any particular areas which we just talked about?
Well, if you're in terms of job also, zoology is at par with any other subject, if not more, equal, if not more. There are the pharmaceutical companies of the world, the biotechnology companies of the world, uh, so they all want to have new graduates with good vision like all of you. For example, Kiran Majumdar show, the Biocon company. She was just an ordinary lady until maybe 20, 30 years before. She's a multi-billionaire company now. So you all have opportunities, be it zoology or chemistry or physics. Zoology has got better opportunities in, say, for example, you all can become good teachers of zoology for the future generation. You all can become good administrators in zoology also for future generation. You can get employment in new drug discoveries. Computer aided drug discovery is one of the norm of the information technology revolution. Computer aided drug discovery, CAD. In fact, our Department of Biotechnology offers that course. So all of you have got ample opportunities. You should be willing to challenge, willing to take up the challenge. You should be willing for experimenting yourself. Not that you should. Hello, is it over? Is it over?
Sir, we had a network issue at our university.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So is it over now or still more time?
So one more question and then we shall
Okay.
wind up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Please.
So, yeah. So, sir, can you just talk about like funding opportunities in terms of research and innovation in zoology and biotechnology?
Oh, there are a lot of fundings now. Uh, the union government has got a DSIR, Department of Science and Industrial Technology, DSI Research, Industrial Research, under which the CSIR, then Department of Biotechnology, Department of Biotechnology, all these, then CSIR and DBT offers several schemes for youngsters, for the BSc honors students, for master's students, particularly for the women candidates. There are several projects, several fellowships, CSIR Research Associateship, CSIR Senior Research Fellowship. Indian CSIR has got funding for in a big way. In fact, earlier it was only very small portion of our GDP. Today it is a big portion of our. It is relatively better today with the CSIR, DSIR, DBT, Indian Space Research Organization, Department of Atomic Energy. There are so many avenues available for people to seek funding. If you have a good project, if you have a good thoughts, if you have good science, there is no dearth for money today, I think. So you can be very optimistic, provided you are willing to work sincerely, you are willing to search for truth. There is money always available. Money will not be a blocking thing if you have the will to do good research, particularly for
Thank,
women candidates.
thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
I take an opportunity from the department to thank you, show our gratitude to you. So, spending your valuable time and giving your insights on like, zoology and its cohesiveness with that of biotechnology. So, with this, we come towards the end of the webinar. Thank you all. Thank you, Ramchandran sir, Elizabeth ma'am, and thank you all for joining us. With this, we all can leave the meeting. Thank you all.
Wish you all the very best, excellent future in zoology and biotechnology of Navrachana University. And thank you very much for having me to share my thoughts with all of you this morning. Very, very good wishes, best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Pardon?
Have a great day.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Same to you also.
Yeah, thank you.
Same to you. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. क्लोज कर लो कृतिका.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.